So for as long as I have been alive, you would buy a movie that you want and you would put it into a machine and that machine would play it, given the limitations of the machine, whether, if it can play VHS or DVD or beta, but no one used beta. Let's be real. But the point that I'm trying to make is that regardless of the medium, whether it was a VHS or a DVD, as long as the machine can take those things, it would play it. And the same applies for video game consoles. So if I wanted to watch Mr. Bean, I would put it in the PS4. You get it. I'd put it in the Xbox and it would work. That is unless you're a Nintendo console, and then in which you don't play movies. Nintendo doesn't, that's not a thing. And I actually think talking about the Switch leads or transitions into a good point, and that is that it's no secret that we are pretty much completely transitioning into, a digital medium when it comes to specifically music and movies. And the same is said for the state of video games. I believe that given our current state of how we handle media, the act in buying physical media is essentially kind of a novelty or becoming a novelty, or in most cases, a specialty, something that a collector would do. So music is a perfect kind of segue or an example to that, because for the most part, I've completely stopped buying music aside from paying for a monthly subscription service via Spotify or some of that jazz. But if I do buy an album, I buy it on vinyl in a form and way that makes it unique and special and something tangible that I want to show off. Otherwise, if I were to buy albums, well, that would just be silly and pointless. And I really wouldn't have I wouldn't really have a way to play it because I don't actually own a CD player. I own this dude, a record player, which is kind of backwards, but again, it's the specialty, it's the novelty, the collector's thing of it that makes it cool and unique to own something. But to get back to my main point is that I can take this record and I can play it on any record player. So what the fuck is the deal with video games? Now, there's a few things to address before diving any further into this topic. First, companies like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, they have exclusives to sell their consoles. It's marketing. You have this special thing, like this game, that's only playable on this specific platform. That's how they sell a system. We get it. But when you contrast that with the fact that everything that is released today is also available digitally, it's that old-fashioned way of marketing and thinking with console exclusives is starting to make less and less sense. And leading off of that is streaming. The industry hasn't completely broken the code with streaming video games, but it is most certainly happening right now. So of course, Microsoft has Game Pass, which is kind of their answer to streaming. So instead of streaming the game, you pay a monthly service and then you download the game. And then Sony has PlayStation Now, which allows you to stream games, and also recently added the ability to download games onto the console, similar to Microsoft's Game Pass. On top of that, in Japan, Resident Evil 7 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or what's the new one? A new Assassin's Creed. Yeah, Odyssey. Anyways, Resident Evil 7 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey is being streamed on Nintendo Switches in Japan. Two games that aren't actually released for the Nintendo Switch, at least not here in the States and other places. So with these points, it makes less and less sense that we have these barriers, these cross-platform barriers when it comes to being able to play games on whatever desired system we want to play them on. Very similar to the idea of someone who wants to buy a cheap off-name brand DVD player to watch Mr. Bean in its entirety, opposed to forking up money to get the Samsung thing or Sony DVD player to watch Mr. Bean in its entirety. It's the consumer's choice on how they want to consume Mr. Bean. It's my choice on whether or not I want to watch Mr. Bean on Amazon or if I want to own the physical media because I love Mr. Bean. It is a very consumer focused way of running business. It's leaving it in our hands to choose how we want to indulge in the media that we want to indulge in. And now more than ever is everything for the most part, consumer focused. Businesses have completely changed their models to suit our needs instead of us, the consumers, having to adjust to the expectations and wants of the companies and corporations. Stuff like free to play is consumer focused. Toning down on the extreme of microtransactions in video games is a move that is better for the consumer. Making games like Minecraft and Fortnite, yeah, that's the one. Cross-platform for every single console, whether it's a phone or a Switch or an Xbox or PlayStation, is all for the consumer. It's all for the best interest of our needs. I don't believe these companies are still going to be losing out on the ability to have their exclusives. Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Shudder, whatever whatever that thing, they all still have their exclusive things that you can't get on any other service. It's just the cost is $10 a month opposed to investing in something that can be $400, $500, $600 on top of buying a $60 game and memberships and all that fucking bullshit. And furthermore, I don't think physical media is going to be going anywhere. I still think there's going to be a market for purchasing things in tangible forms in which you can display the things you want. I mean, hell, it seems as though most special editions that come out don't even come out with the game. They just come with like a sweet collectible thing, because if anything, that's the reason why you're buying a collector's edition, is to collect, because it's a collector's edition. It's for collecting. The game is in a way kind of secondary in those things. And besides, clothing is never going to go digital. Stuff that you wear and represent is never going to go digital. So there's always going to be a market for these companies to cash in different ways. And that is very true with the up and up of companies like, ThinkGeek and stuff, those stores. But of course, this is what I think, and you are completely welcome to disagree with me. So please let me know in the comments how you feel about this, or the idea of this, and whether or not consoles, the next generation, is going to be streaming, and whether or not we're actually going to have to deal with exclusives still and not being able to play Fortnite and Minecraft and, heaven forbid, Fallout 76 with our friends without owning the same console they do. Okay, I am Kurt, Indovina. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, bye.